What is the climate endgame? Yesterday I mentioned a new UN report demanding $150 trillion, that's with a T, to combat the imaginary climate crisis. In that video, I ventured that climate has been one of the most successful taxpayer fleecings in American history, rivaling the military-industrial complex and second only to central banking. Frittered away on green billionaires and their army of useful idiots who glue themselves to highways. Alas, it is not just the $150 trillion. There's always been a more sinister angle to the environmental movement. Indeed, 50 years ago, Czech physicist Peter Beckmann coined the term watermelon to describe the movement. So green on the outside, deep Marxist red on the inside. We can see the political agenda and how media treats environmental issues. So anything the left dislikes has a sin-soaked carbon footprint that must be eliminated to purify the planet. But anything the left likes gets a pass. For example, the past few years, we've seen mainstream media attacking the carbon footprints of barbecues, air conditioning, recreational shooting, or even camping, college football, and especially tailgating at college football, which college Marxists do not do. Meanwhile, burning dozens of cities for racialized Marxism or sending hundreds of private jets flying cross-Atlantic to environmental conferences apparently have no carbon footprint at all. It is magic. Alas, joke or no, they are now taking this to the next level. In Europe, they are floating digital identities that could be used to impose a carbon allowance, beyond which you would have to buy credits. So the riffraff stays in their pods, the rich still get to park their yachts off Monte Carlo. Commentator Eva Vladingerbroek labeled this correctly as neo-feudalism. Alas, it is one thing to keep the poor in their place, but the next step is slashing humanity's standard of living altogether. After all, we are all sinners in the eyes of St. Greta. So how much? Well, major UK consultancy Future Laboratories issued a report recently calling for carbon allowances of just 2.3 tons per year, which is the carbon emission of a single round-trip cross-Atlantic flight. So you could either take that flight or you could eat for the year. Now, that would do wonders for keeping the riffraff out, unless you've got the dosh or the ideological blessing to buy your indulgences. 2.3 tons is interesting because it's roughly 7 times less than the average American and 5 times less than the average European uses. They are poorer because their politicians are stupid. So what would 7 times less carbon look like? Well, carbon footprints line up almost perfectly with GDP, so it's pretty easy. We'd be 7 times poorer. In other words, a standard of living somewhere between Cuba and Botswana. Of course, at that point, we pray that they do not further alter the deal and take us all the way to climate paradises like Somalia or Papua New Guinea. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. The good news is the watermelons are overplaying their cards. $150 trillion to buy our way to Botswana is not a winning platform. Alas, the bad news is our left-wing media is brainwashed so deep they will do everything they can to hide the trap until we are deep inside. Read the rest of the article at profsaintange.com with charts and everything. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.